It's 14 Minesweeper Variants, the game that adds new rules to Minesweeper to create incredible logic puzzles. How on earth can there be a 010 in the corner here? It's because the numbers lie. The numbers aren't strictly denoting the number of mines that are adjacent or diagonal to it, but in fact are denoting the difference between black mines adjacent to it and gray mines adjacent to it. First example, there's 2 black mines and 2 gray mines. 2 minus 2 is 0. Here, there's 3 gray mines and 1 black mine. 3 minus 1 is 2. It's always biggest minus smallest. What an interesting rule. And it's going to introduce a new way of notation. Introducing the blue line. Everything that the blue line touches must equal to 0 in difference between black and gray mines. And I drew that line because of, well, the 0 right here. I could either have 1 gray and 1 black for 0, or no grays and no blacks. And I could draw a similar blue line for this 0. I could draw one for this 0. I could draw one for this 0, and this is probably where I'll start, because the only way to actually get a difference of 0 next to this 0 is to have none of these be mines, because there's no black mines available. But that's all I can do there. Now, what could I draw for a 1? I could bring back the good old yellow line. And this says anything that's in the yellow line just needs to have a difference of 1. The possibilities are 1 gray mine, 0 black mines, 1 black mine, 0 gray mines, or 2 black mines, 1 gray mine, all with the difference of 1. Now let me erase this line to kind of show a little interaction between a yellow and blue line. Because the left 2 have to add up to 0, that means the right one alone has to be a mine so the big line can equal 1. It's basically 1 plus 0 is 1. So this is always a mine. Boom. And now let's look at this 0. There's already a black mine, so I have to have a gray mine to balance it out. And this being a mine would make it unequal, so I have to have it be a 0. And now with the blue line, if one of them becomes a mine, the other has to be a mine. Now look at this 0. I already have a black mine, so I must have a gray mine to balance it out. And this can't be a mine. And now let's look at this 0. I already have a gray mine, so I have to have a black mine to balance it out, and it's stable at 0, and there's no other way to have it equal 0. The things are looking good. Zeros can manifest in a few other ways, though. Look at this one. It's not a 0, but it already has 1 more black mine than gray mine. So the way to keep it is to have the other 2 cells touching it equals 0. And then look at this 0. It already has a gray and black mine next to it, so already effectively equals 0. So the other 3 need to equal 0. Now, this is where it gets tricky. Look at this one, right? It already has 1 gray mine, so you think it's always a 0. Well, it could be a 0, yes, but it also could kind of be a 2. Now, I'll denote 2 with red, and I'll show you what I mean. The cells adjacent to this one, it could be 1 gray, 1 black, which equals 0. It could be no grays, no black, which equals 0, and it'd be valid. Or it could be 2 blacks, because if you look at the big picture, I would then have 2 blacks and 1 gray around this one, which makes a difference of 1. I don't know if that's how I want to denote it yet with those 2 lines, but it's just what's got to be right now. Then I got this one. Right now, the difference is 0, and it needs to become 1, so the remaining 3 must have a difference of 1. I could maybe start thinking about where mines could actually show up. Could I have a mine all the way on the right side? Well, if I did, it would need to equal 0, which means there'd have to be a mine here. And then for this blue line to equal 0, this would have to not be a mine. Then this would have to be a mine to satisfy the middle one's red line. And then the yellow line already equals 1, so I guess I'll keep it that way. That's pretty valid. What about the middle cell being a mine? Well, according to the rightmost blue line, that means this black has to then become a mine, and this be a non-mine. The one in the middle would have a blue line satisfied like this. And then the one on the left's yellow line would be satisfied like this. Yeah, that's also valid. Okay, so I can't actually do anything here yet. Great, awesome. You know what I'm gonna do then? Nuke it all. How about I look at the top? I got a yellow line here of 1. So then these 3 have to equal -1, basically. So this 0 evens out. I'll do purple for the -1. And then, of course, I got a good old 0. How did the purple and blue interact? What would happen if this is a non-mine? Then this has to be a mine. I have to have the grays balance out, so this would be a mine. These are non-mines, but this invalidates this 0. A little progress. This must be a mine and a non-mine. Great, I have a 2. Awesome. The only way to get to 2 is 2 gray mines, which I will mark. 2, it already equals 2, but it could go in both directions. It could have both or neither of these be a mine, so that's a 0 right here. Then that creates a 1 between these 2 for this one. And then I can look at this one. Well, if these 2 already equal to 1, that means this is not a mine. Boom. I could maybe check out this one. This one is effectively meaning these 2 cells are a 0. So then I could think about it from the perspective of the 2. 2 is already a 1, plus 0 gets it nowhere. So these 2 must give me 1 more net black. So that means this is a mine. This is not a mine. Great. The 0 must zero out by having this be a mine. This 1 already equals to 1, so this is a non-mine. This 1 already equals to 1, so this is a non-mine. The 0 is already zeroed out, so I'll gladly draw this line again. This 2 is an interesting one. This 2 currently equals to 0, so the only way to satisfy it is to have either 2 grays or 2 blacks. And that matters because one of these is always going to be a mine, which means that there's going to be some reaction with this 0. Now, I can't have this one be the mine, because that would mean this is not a mine and there'd be no way to zero out the 0. So it's got to be the other way around. It's got to be mines on grays, so I can have no mine, and then yes mine here to zero out the 0. So grays are mines, these are non-mines, and this is a mine. This 1 equals 0, so it does need to become 1. This 1 equals 2 right now, so I need to tone it down to a 1, like that. This is a 0, so I can draw my blue line here for later. This 2 is already a 1. I could have both gray mines. No, I couldn't have both gray mines be yes and both black mines be no, because I would have 3 minus 2 equals 1. So it does have to be black mines more than gray mines, which means that this 1 has to be a black mine, because if it were a gray mine, I wouldn't be able to get to 2. So yes mine, no mine. And also the blue line connects mines. If one is a mine, the other must be a mine. There's also this 1, which equals 0. I'll now make it 1. So now this 2 does equal 2. So this is just the blue line. This 0 equals 1, which is bad. And these 2 equal 0. So these 2 need to be a 1 in the direction of gray. And the only way to get that is to mark the gray as a mine. And this is a non-mine. And the 2 is complete. I now also have this 2 having 1 gray mine. Only way to zero it out is with the black mine and get rid of the gray mine, gray cell. This 0 has 2 gray, 2 blacks, already equals 0. This 2 has only one way to equal 2, and that would be with a second black mine. Because if I did both of them being gray mines, it would still be 2 minus 1, which isn't enough. The 0 already equals 0, so this is not a mine. The blue line makes this not a mine. I have a 2, which already equals 2. It's blue line time. This 2 is already a 1, so it needs 1 more in the direction of black between these 3. How about this 0? It does equal 1 right now, so I'll zero that out and attach the mines. I got 4 mines remaining out of 5 cells. I think the only way to actually get 4 mines would to have both of these be a mine, and then these 2 also be a mine. Wow, well that was tough. What a cool puzzle though. This rule is interesting. All mines form a single snake whose body does not touch itself. Sounds like a Cracking the Cryptic YouTube title. Here's an example of a valid snake. The body doesn't touch itself. Diagonal touching is not touching. Here is an example of 2 invalid things. So the bottom mine is invalid because it doesn't connect to the rest of the snake. It's like a second snake, which is no good. This one, I guess you can't just make a second head out of the snake because that's what this mine is. It's practically a second head. That's weird. Is this even Minesweeper then? Well, Minesweeper rules otherwise apply, and I guess I have a lot of very simple logic or Minesweeper logic so far. It's thankfully easy. This is very basic, but I got a snake forming, and I have one of these 2 being a mine thanks to the 1. Wait, you're telling me I can work with this? This is progressible. Yes. Right. I think the idea is this can't be a mine because then I would have an issue of a separate head. I would have a forking path. It can't fork. It can't create a second head, so this is not a mine. Same with here, can't have that second head. Same with here, can't have that second head. I have 3 mines attached to 3. That's complete. This 3 is complete. 5 just means 5 mines. 2 means one of these 2 is a mine. And again, there can't be a mine here, no separate head. There also can't be a mine here, no splitting heads. Now what? Well, if one of these 2 is a mine, that would mean 2 out of these 3 are a mine, according to this 3. But I also know that 1 out of these 3 are a mine, thanks to this 3. So this is kind of a 2-1 pattern. And in Minesweeper, whenever you see a 2 next to a 1, kind of like this, it means the cell unique to the 2 is a mine, and the cell unique to the 1 is not a mine. And then it simplifies to one of these 2 being a mine. Well, the snake must continue. It doesn't have to continue. It's possible for this to be the mine, and then the snake to just continue all the way around something like this. You know what I'm saying? There's 15 mines remaining. Surely there's enough for this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Yeah, that's perfectly valid. Of course, I'd have to draw it a little better. I think it would mean the snake looks more like this, but the point still stands. Wait, does the point stand? 14 mines instead of 15. Now, I've had some practice with 5x5 versions of this level and 6x6 and 7x7 in order to unlock this. And something I learned is that if I draw a snake from point A to point B, but the amount of mines it takes is an odd number away from the remaining mines, then drawing that snake is impossible. Because drawing a line that moves orthogonally between any 2 points on a grid is always going to be an even distance line or an odd distance line. And you can't turn an even distance into an odd distance line between 2 points. So that means going from here to here is not okay. So does that mean then this can't be a mine? It does. That's the proof. And now one mine must go here. Let's clear this. The snake could continue. Well, now again, I want to test my snake length, right? Is this a valid snake? 12. 12 is fine because you can increase by 2 really easily. It would look something like this. Well, except the body touches itself. I would need a better example. Perhaps this one. And this works. Well, so I think, again, what we're learning is that the snake can't really make it to here. This is going to be an odd snake, so this is not a mine. The snake continues. That's a 4, which makes my life really easy. 2 mines there. I can't have the snake be here. It would have a splitting head. Nor can I have it here, also a splitting head. Could go into the corner. Is it possible for this to be a mine? Let's draw a snake and count. 9. Yep. Odd is good. Alternatively, this could be the mine, and then who knows what happens to the snake on the other side. Well, what can I prove at this point then? I guess I could pick really weird parts of the map and figure, oh yeah, the snake probably doesn't make it here, because first off, the snake would have to be here, and then also do something like this, but then its body would touch itself. It could never get to this point without touching itself, so this is never part of the snake. Same goes with this. This is a little different though, but it's a 1. I don't think this is possible to reach then. This is possible to reach because any snake that goes like this satisfies the 1. I was thinking I could go like this for my snake, but that would mean that it's 2 and not 1. Is there any world in which this is part of the snake? No, it's still the same issue. I would just have a snake that goes like this and then his body touches itself. So this is not a mine. This is. Well, that means this is not a mine. Can't have splitting heads. This 2 must have a mine here. The snake must continue from here. The dead end can't happen because I already have a dead end. I can't have 2. I have 8 mines remaining here. The most obvious spot for a mine is here, but I want to just ask myself this. Is it possible for this snake to work? That looks like way more than 8 mines, and it is. And that is the only possible snake that would include this as a mine. So this is not a mine, and the snake continues here. I can't have any splitting of heads. I can't have the snake's body touch itself. 4. Ooh. Well, surely the mine can't be here because this is a 4. I would have to have a mine here then, and that already makes it a 5. So you're not a mine. What about here, though? Is this possible? It would have to look like this, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 mines. That's no good. You're not a mine. You are a 2. Well, this cell has to be a mine because if it wasn't, these 2 would be mines. And I would have a second snake, which is no good. So you're a mine. I also think that this can't be a mine anymore. This has to be the mine. There is no sensible snake that has a mine here. Beautiful. 5 to go. At this point, I feel like I should be able to map the whole thing, yeah? Like it should look something like this. This is a valid snake with 5. I'm pretty sure it's the only way to actually satisfy every number. Otherwise, I'd get some messy body touching itself sort of stuff, which is not allowed. So let's see if I'm right. Mine, 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 mine. Yep, and I'm out of mines. What a cool puzzle that was. I mean, that's barely Minesweeper, but still incredible. This rule in particular should be exciting when I start combining rules. Oh yeah, you know that's coming. This rule is more in the spirit of Minesweeper, but still absolutely wacky. The clue indicates the number of mines in a cross regions within distance 2. So a 2 means there's 2 mines within this big plus, and this 6 means there's 6 mines within the big plus. Look at this one, right? 1 out of the highlighted cells must be a mine. 5 out of these highlighted cells must be mine. 5 out of these highlighted cells must be mine. And actually, there are only 5 unmarked cells, so I guess they are all mines. Great. 4 out of these cells must be mines, and actually, it means that every highlighted cell right now must be a mine. Only way to get to 4. What about this 5? There's 7 unmarked cells, and here 2 out of 7 are mines. I don't even know where to start. Okay, I could try to start following some weird logic. I'm thinking about what this 2 and this 1 have in common. Like what cells they share. Well, they share this cell and they share this cell. What if one of them was a mine? You know, just to satisfy the one. Let's start with this one. Well, then none of the other ones would be a mine. And then what we need to know is that out of these 2 cells, there is at most 1 mine because otherwise the 2 is overwhelmed. And now we get to the 5. Look at what's happened to my poor 5. There's only 3 cells that could be a mine and then 2 more cells that share 1 mine between them. totaling in 4 mines, which means that if this were a mine, the 5 would not have enough mines. Therefore, it's not a mine. And I think you can do exactly the same logic with the other cell that the 2 and the 1 share. It's the exact same reason. So you're not a mine. I can actually do something similar with these 2 ones. What cells do they share that aren't shared by the 5? Well, there's only one, and it's this cell. If that's a mine, then none of the other cells that the 1s have are mines. And look at this 5. It can only have 4 mines at most, meaning this is not a mine. And that's a 0. Easy marking. I now have a 1 with only 1 possible cell. I could probably work then with these 2 1s and this 3. What are some cells shared by the 1s that aren't shared by the 3? Well, it's only this cell, which would mean that this would not be a mine, and it would mean that this would not be a mine. Look at this 3. It could then at most only have 2 mines, which is not okay. Therefore, this is not a mine. Now, I do have this 1 only having 1 mine remaining, but this still has options. I don't know if this will lead to anything, but maybe I could start thinking about the 5 and which of its 5 remaining cells are not a mine, because 4 must be a mine and 1 must not be a mine. Like, what if this were not a mine, for example? Then I'd have mine, 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 mine. Then I would have a 2 that's complete, so no more mines. I think the whole point was then get to this 3. This 3 could have at most 2 mines now, which is illegal. Therefore, this must be a mine. Now I've completed my 1. These 2 are non-mines. Oh, I have a 0. That's very helpful. Naturally, this being a non-mine means that the other cells that the 5 highlights are all mines. Great. I have a 1 here with only 1 possible cell, must be a mine. I have 2, which already has 2 mines, so all the rest are non-mines. I have a 0, praise be. I have a 3 with only 3 possible mine locations. They're all mines. I have a 3 with already 3 mines. I have a 3 with already 3 mines. I have a 3 with already 3 mines. I feel like a broken record. Now it gets tough again. I maybe want to look at this 5. Out of the 4 remaining cells, 3 of them have to be mines, so exactly 1 of them is a non-mine. And what if it were this one, for example? Then I would have mine, 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 and then this 2 would now be complete, so I would have no mine, no mine, and then look at this 3. It has 2 mines without any possibility for more. Therefore, this here must be a mine, and now my 3 is complete, so this is not mine. I have a 4, which has 2 mines and only 2 remaining cells, which now both must be mines. I have a 5 here, which does have 5 mines already. The rest can be marked off. Taking a look at this 5, there are 4 mines already and 1 possible remaining cell. I have a 2 here with 2 mines. I have a 3 with 3 mines already. I have a 3 with 2 mines, 1 more possible cell. And now I have this 6. It has 3 mines and 3 remaining cells, so I guess they're all mines. And everything else is a non-mine. Absolutely beautiful logic. These are so cool. I can't wait till we start combining the rules. Well, I hope you're all excited for more Minesweeper rules. Time to hop into the next one.